Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news video. We didn't have an episode last week. We planned to. Things came up right before Connor had a 2-day break, so once it became clear that we weren't going to get to it until the very earliest Monday, we figured there was no point in trying to squeeze it in. We just rolled everything that was in that show into this one.
So you get a mega episode.
Yeah, I'm going to warn you right now, the audio podcast version of this may be split in two, depending on how long this goes. Maybe. Yeah. I'm not sure, maybe quicker than I'm expecting. But just based on how much is there, I'm going to say that there's a possibility. So if this is a part one on the audio, don't worry, part two will be up right after. But so here we go. So yeah, we talk about the week's TV news. We also give you any updates on shows we're covering or anything like that. You know, new shows starting, shows finishing, anything else that pops up. Now at the end of the show, we pick our favourite episode of TV from the week, which will be the week. We won't go 2 weeks, because we weren't here last time. But we'll just go till last Friday.
I mean, let's be honest. You can just assume that last week's was Mr. Robot.
It probably was, yes. It probably was.
It was a very good episode last week.
It was a very good episode last week's. So, but here we are. So we're going to. So I guess the update, because it's 2 weeks worth of updates, I actually have quite a lot of things to say. In terms of new things that started, we checked out the first episode of Happy from Sci-Fi. Not bad. Some rough elements, but definite potential. We tried Nightfall from History. Couldn't stand it.
I quite liked it.
You agreed
to an extent.
You agreed with almost every criticism I had. You just kind of liked it anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Just.
I'm not saying it's a great show. I'm saying if this was said that my end of the review was, if you like this sort of stuff, you'll probably enjoy this episode.
If you're a fan of good writing, on the other hand, probably not.
They're not mutually exclusive.
I don't think they are. I'm saying that in this particular case, writing is not good.
It's not great. It's not awful, but it's not great.
Oh, it's not Iron Fist, but it's not. It's not that much better either. Anyway, so we tried that. Obviously, we had the return of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had a double premiere last week. We did that. Obviously, in fact, we record this late on a Friday, so it'll actually be Saturday when we get to the review for episode 3. Yeah, so we'll be getting that over the weekend. So that was good. I was happy to have S.H.I.E.L.D. back. It's good fun.
Definitely.
So that's exciting. So
got a couple of other things you missed there. We started Dark.
Oh yeah, that was in the past.
That was since that last news episode.
Technically, I think Godless is as well.
Is Godless as well?
Yeah, that was the Wednesday before. Right?
Yeah. See, Godless shouldn't have been because that was on the Wednesday. So we'd done the news.
No, Godless was a week before that. No, we're fine. Godless was not in these 2 weeks.
So we covered Godless. Dark would have been we didn't start. We were never planned to start that till last Sunday anyway.
No, but that went up on Netflix last Friday. We have the first 3 are up at the time of recording. We just recorded the 4th episode review, so that will probably be up before this news video goes up. So you can check out that. Pretty fun, German original Netflix show, sci-fi.
Well worth checking out.
Mysterious, yeah. A lot of characters, a little confusing at times, with all of the family trees, but
it can be, but it treats it well enough.
Yeah, so that's fun stuff. But worth checking out if you like the idea of science fiction and thriller. I think you should probably give it a look.
Also, we don't cover them, but The Crown season 2 came out today. I'm looking forward to checking that out myself. And The Grand Tour season 2 hit on Amazon. A lot of fun. I've already watched the first episode of that because that goes up weekly.
All right, you're done with the Connor only section of the show.
I suppose. I just wanted to mention both those because I like both those shows, and I'm never going to get to talk about them again. So I thought, well, I'll have the 15 seconds here.
Okay. But yeah, so that's everything. And then next week, I should probably mention the Mr. Robot season 3 finale is next week. So that we'll be wrapping up that next week. So a lot of things, things starting and stopping.
This past week was all the mid-season finales of the DCCW shows. Mm-hmm. So we will be having our episode from Television from the Multiverse for that this weekend.
Yeah, that'll be the late Sunday this weekend. We'll be talking about all the episode 9s, which are all the mid-season finales. And then, as we announced on that show, we're going to do some old DC TV material in the off-season. So that'll still be a series that runs through Christmas, even though the shows themselves aren't on. We'll be doing some old Lois and Clark, some Smallville, some animated Young Justice stuff. That's the plan with that. All right, is that everything? Can we get to the news?
I think so. That was a combination of 2 weeks worth, and it's a busy time of year.
Yeah, I think the one thing I will say is, mostly thanks to Netflix, is that basically the quiet period over Christmas and New Year's is actually not as quiet as it used to be. Because I remember last year being quite almost boring. We had like Travelers on, and that was about it. That's what we had to cover over Christmas and New Year's. This year it feels like, it's just as busy. Just as busy as a regular week.
Especially as we've got things like Happy still running, Runaways is still running. That was not intentional. Look, I did it for Happy first, so you can tell it wasn't intentional. I hate myself now.
I'm happy that you made the pun.
Unintentionally.
Wasn't the best kind. Anyway, so let's get to the news, the oodles of it. Now, I will say this actually. We have that. This is matching a single week that we had once.
That's a terrifying thought for that week, isn't it?
we have had this number of pages on a single news episode before, so this is not that absurd that we've never done this much.
However, for once I've seen a lot of this news, or some of this news in advance, more than usual, which means there are bigger things than usual, or not necessarily what individually bigger things, but there's a lot of things that will get discussion. Potentially.
Oh, there's a lot of things at the end you'll moan at me for not putting on here. And I'll be like, they weren't that big. Why are you staring at me like
I'm already trying to think what they're going to be.
Well, there's no Doctor Who news, I can say that much. Not that I don't know if there was any, but that's usually one of the things you bring up that I don't bring up, is the Doctor Who news.
No, it's fine. We're waiting for Christmas on that one.
That's fine, cool. Alright, so let's the quicker things first, as we usually do. So first up, Mindhunter has been, and I used this word very specifically, formally been renewed for season 2 by Netflix. I say formally because it was basically already renewed before it even premiered, because we even talked about it as if it had been renewed, and I think it was. I think the phrasing was very specific. This was just the official announcement, even though everyone knew it was already.
Yeah, okay, cool. Knew it was coming, so it doesn't really mean anything by that standard, but yeah, cool.
And we also learned a few weeks ago that it's not coming till 2019, so
that sucks. We also learned that about Game of Thrones this week, from, I think it was an interview with Sophie Turner, who's I think it was her that said it'll be 2019 when it's coming.
Jean Grey. Speaking of things that we won't get until 2019, Stranger Things has officially been renewed for season 3. I was actually tempted.
Did they say that it won't be till 2019?
They didn't say officially, but I saw a lot of news articles going up in the last day saying why we probably won't see Stranger Things until 2019.
I'm still hoping for Christmas 2018.
I would like that. I think that would be a really nice thematic thing if it came out at Christmas and it was all Christmas themed, and we could watch it over the Christmas. That'd be great.
I think if that's what they can aim for. I mean, timescale's not unreasonable based on how long between season 1 and 2.
No, the timescale seems fine given that. But then you maybe have the whole Fargo problem where they want to shoot it in the winter.
That is a problem.
But then again, then it wouldn't debut in the winter though, because then they would have to wait till Christmas 2019 if they wanted to actually put it out at Christmas.
Yeah.
So fake snow.
Just do it. It's fine.
But yeah, I almost wanted to put the word formally in this one as well, because let's face it, we all knew it was getting renewed for season 3. There was not a fibre of doubt.
No, there's no chance. That's getting until the story's done, which allegedly season 4 seasons is what people are saying. It's getting 4 seasons.
That's what the Duffer Brothers want, apparently, at least right now. So that's what I'd expect. Yeah, and then next up in terms of renewals, this is one that I necessarily didn't see coming. Now, we don't actually watch this show, but I figured it was big enough. Enough people liked it a lot that I thought it was worth mentioning. And that was Big Little Lies. That's been renewed for season 2. 7 episodes, HBO. You've got Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon, who are both going to be back for it. So
it's funny. I was always in the impression that was more of a limited series.
I think it was meant to be at first, but then people kept... It's kind of like Night Of, where Night Of was limited, but then people kept talking about saying, hey, are we going to do another one? And then HBO officially said, hey, if I can't remember his name, but the writer-director, if he comes back to us and says, I've got an idea for another season, he gets it. So, and that was good, so I'm Yeah, but so obviously that's happy news for people who enjoyed the show, because a lot of people did. A lot of people did like that show. All right, on to some premiere dates. Some interesting ones here as well. So first up, one that we had been speculating ad nauseum for the past several months, because we were worried about shadow drops. We were worried about shadow drops this week, in fact.
We were getting very concerned. There was plenty of hints lining up that it could have been.
Yeah, there was like a countdown to... Now, it turned out to be the countdown to revealing the date, but we were worried it was a countdown to the... Oh, surprise, it's already out, and that is...
Yeah, you had... during this, it was at the 13 days of Black Mirror.
Connor.
I don't care.
I hadn't even said what the show was yet. You just blurted it out.
I don't care.
You have no showmanship whatsoever. You are an absolute cretin.
I just like ruining moments for you. It's fun.
You're the absolute worst. I was building up to saying what the show was. I was building it into my sentence. I was having a natural incline until I actually revealed what the show was. I teased it, and you just threw it out there like it was like a damp squid. Just there. Just on the table. There.
This is what you get for knowingly missing out news that you know I will care. I don't know what it is, but you said there's stuff that I will care about.
I didn't know if there is. I was just joking because you said you'd seen a lot of news.
Well, I assumed that you knew. You should have been clearer.
Right, what are you going to say? You've ruined the whole thing. You just finished the story. It's fine.
Wow, your enthusiasm just went down, didn't it? Well, no. What I was going to say is during this 13 days, we had Charlie Brooker tweet that this is imminent. So it was like, okay, this really could be this week now, which was a major concern.
Aye. It's coming on December 29th. That's good.
It was actually a very good time for it.
It's actually good. I'm not putting any enthusiasm in the story now because you ruined it. So
I'm really happy I ruined it.
Moving on, Netflix also announced the premiere date for something coming in February 2nd, and that is Altered Carbon, the new sci-fi show with Joel Kinnaman in it, along with a minute-long trailer. Now, that's actually, it was funny, because last week, if we had done news last week, they had put out some quick 10-second little clips of things, and we were going to talk about that, because those were quite impressive, but they put out the full minute one this week with the date at the end, and we did watch the trailer. What did you think of the trailer, Connor?
I like the first half is an in-universe advert, essentially, which kind of tells you what the plot is, the premise at least.
Yeah, the premise is that people can be downloaded into new bodies.
Yeah, and it's this company provides, and then they call them sleeves, which is just new bodies.
It's a cyberpunk show. It's basically what it is. It's a futuristic city with flying cars, all the rest of it. And now, admittedly, the shots you get in the actual minute-long trailer are very quick. But I can tell you that a couple of those moments in the trailer were the longer 10-second things where you just saw an extended 10-second shot.
Oh, okay. Because that's what I was going to say. They was split into two, this trailer, that advert at the start, and then 20 seconds of just his 30 shots.
For example, in the trailer, there's a very, very quick glimpse of a flying car coming up above the clouds, and there's these structures above the clouds.
Yeah.
And one of the 10 to 15 second teases from last week, there's just that full shot. Just going slowly, so you get to really take it in and see how good it looks.
Oh, okay. And I didn't see any of those 10 seconds.
It is gorgeous, and there was also shots in the city itself with the cars flying. It is movie level. It looks as good as Blade Runner 2049. It's on at least in close proximity to it.
High praise, because I know you weren't that big on that movie, but visually it's phenomenal.
I just didn't love it. I liked it. I didn't love it.
Okay, fine, but visually, it's fantastic.
Oh, visually it's great. And I'm not saying the directing is necessarily going to be as good. I'm just saying from a visual effects point of view, it looks like a big budget sci-fi movie.
Yeah,
it looks fantastic visually. I mean, the story.
It looked good from what I saw, but it's harder to tell in those, because it was very quick cuts.
Still, nothing about this trailer certainly put me off the show. I'm still.
No, because I remember vaguely talking about this, but I kind of forgot about it for a long time. So this is a nice reminder. This is what this is. Get excited! It's coming in 3 months or whatever.
2 months.
Less than that too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's soon. We got a big sci-fi show in February.
I think I expect 3 months because I need some warning for these sort of shows.
So that's coming February 2nd. So it's not
very early. Yeah.
It's not far off at all.
That's like 7 weeks,
something like that. But yeah, and it's 10 episodes, so Nice big meaty Netflix show to do, so they're not giving us any time off. We're going to have interesting things to watch.
We might have a couple of weeks off at the end of January.
We might. They've not announced anything there yet, but they could.
They could.
So that's cool. So that's Altered Carbon coming February 2nd. Sci-fi, cyberpunk. Really cool looking show. And then the other date we got that just came out today, actually, it was AMC announced the premiere date for The Terror, which is coming March 29th. So we're sort of filling out the spring kind of time period.
Remind me which one The Terror is.
I actually took down the synopsis because it had been a while since we spoke about it, and I thought we might need the refresher. Although there's an element that's missing.
I think I know what it is, but I'm not entirely sure, so I'm not going to say anything.
There's an element of this that's missing, though, that was in the previous versions that we have talked about. And I don't know if it's because it's actually not in the show anymore, or if they're just playing it closer to the chest with plot details. But here's what they've put out today with the news. Inspired by a true story and adapted from the best-selling novel by Dan Simmons, The Terror centres on the Royal Navy's perilous voyage into uncharted territory as the crew attempts to discover the Northwest Passage. Faced with treacherous conditions, limited resources, dwindling hope, and fear of the unknown, the crew is pushed to the brink of extinction, frozen, isolated, and stuck at the end of the earth. The Terror highlights all that can go wrong when a group of men, desperate to survive, struggle not only with the elements, but with one another.
Right. This is the one I was thinking of, because I was like, is this the ship one? And it is. And you're right, there is a major element missing.
Yeah, so there's this ship one. The element that's missing, which might be mailed spoilers if they're hiding it now, but like we've already heard this. They already put this out in the first
it's out there.
about it. That there was either a murderer or a monster or a creature of some kind that's going to start...
I remember it being more like potentially supernatural.
Yeah. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like it was mixing like the true story of these ships with like myth and legend. Now I don't know. I would hope it's still there. I mean, I'm not against the show not having that. Like it still could be.
It's a little less inherently exciting though without it, isn't it?
Yeah. They also put some the first images of it with it. No trailer or anything, but just some stills, and it looks impressive enough from the stills. I'll see what it looks like in motion. We're bound to get a trailer before too long, I imagine.
Yeah, when did you say this was again?
March 29th, which is a Monday. So this is a Monday night.
Okay, it's not too bad. Mondays aren't crazy right now.
It's basically in the Saul slot, because Saul won't be on in March, April this year. So this is going to be in that slot.
Oh, that's true. Why did you have to remind me?
Because Saul's probably going to be the summer, because it got pushed back last year, so it's probably get pushed
back
this coming year.
I'm waiting too long for all these premium shows. I'm not a fan of this.
This is the thing, though. We're getting more and more of them that the gap doesn't feel empty.
It's true. That's a good point.
We're almost just rotating. We'll have 2 or 3 at a time, then we rotate to the next 2 or 3.
That's true. I mean, we'll have Handmaid's Tale, right? That's still hitting that time of year.
That's still April, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we'll have that to tide us over, at least.
So we got some things. So that'll take us on to some other news that's not premiere or renewal related. This was actually from last week, but I thought this was too important not to talk about, is we got the first look at Robin from Titans. I actually have the image. I actually put the image in my news. I never do that, but I did it with this. I wanted to look at it as I was talking about it.
I haven't seen it since this news hit, so I'm going by memory.
Oh my. I'm sure a quick Google would suffice.
I could, but I think I recall it well enough.
So yeah, Brenton Thwaites is playing Dick Grayson in this. He's playing Robin. And well, first of all, I actually didn't realise he was going to start off as Robin. I thought it was going to be Nightwing right
It's because I've always called him Nightwing in everything we've heard about the show.
But honestly, it kind of makes sense to me. Like,
no, I agree. We'll do the journey into Nightwing as part of the season.
I can see that being the season finale. He becomes Nightwing, or maybe even the end of season 2, depending how they want to do it. But I
think alternatively they could play it as the end of episode 1.
I'm going to dispute that just because this suit looks too good to be for one episode.
Well, that's fair.
Because
that flashbacks.
That was flashbacks. That's true. But that is the thing. Looking at this, plus I don't think they'd release that as their first big promo image if it was just a one episode thing mainly.
Depends how much they want it to be a moment in the show.
Yeah, I suppose. But anyway, so yeah, it looks very good. It looks very high quality. It looks much higher quality than the vast majority of the CW outfits. It looks like it would belong in a movie. It looks like it would belong in a movie.
It does look good.
It looks kind of armory. The R looks good.
The R is Tim's R. I've looked into it. It's definitely Tim's R.
It's Tim's R. As much as I'm a big Batman fan, as much as I'm a big comic book fan, I really couldn't tell you the difference between the R's and whose is whose. I don't give a shit. Now, the staff, I'll give you, the staff is very much Tim's weapon, right? He's holding the staff instead of his sticks. I get it, right? I absolutely get it.
And that's why I was thinking about it. But I did think about, obviously, this has been a while now. It's been sitting in my head. We did have, I think it was Dick on the Teen Titans animated show, and he used the staff in that.
Here's my thinking on this. People are saying it's more like Tim's outfit. Now there is the yellow under the black cape and stuff, which is cool. I like how if you actually look at that close, if you get the big version of the image and look at it, it's actually little Lars. They're in the yellow. You can see little Lars.
Is it? That's cool as shit.
But here's my thinking on this. People thinking, oh, it's not really Dick's outfit, it's Tim's outfit. Here's my thinking, right? The reason why it's more like Tim's outfit is because Dick's outfit came from a time period where you got away with those stupid little shorts and everything else.
Yeah, basically because Tim's outfit is better.
Yeah, Tim has the outfit he has is because he was created in a modern time period where we said, okay, the Robin outfit's a little bit silly, let's make it look proper. What this is the Robin outfit with a less goofy look. That's Tim's Robin outfit, right?
It is.
So
I'm not disputing that, and I don't mind the overall look. I think the staff I could have done without.
My guess would be that it breaks in half, so it's kind of like a mix of both. Like, you know, the whole Daredevil thing, where it splits and then you can... Yeah, I can see that. Honestly, the quality of it looks too good to me that I'm going to whine about it being... Because, obviously, like, I will whine about inconsistencies when it feels like it's betraying something to the character, but when it's something as simple as, oh, that's technically the other Robins are, or it's technically...
Yeah, I'm not really being serious about that. Yeah. I don't really care. I do care a bit about the staff compared to the sticks. That bothers me a bit.
Because I think the Robin outfit's been so consistently similar between all the Robins, at least with colour schemes, at least with all the other things, that it's not a big deal. I know Tim had just red and black at one point, later on. I'm glad I didn't do that. I like having the green in there. I think green's an important part of Robin. But, I'm good with it. I'm really excited to see the rest of the team now, given how good he looks.
Yeah, I want to see that's the thing though. As fantastic as this costume looks, it's the CG I'm worried about on the others, like Beast Boy.
I think you get away with that though, because he doesn't have to. It's kind of like the Green Lantern, like constructs. It doesn't have to look real.
No, that's true. It can look inherently goofy and still work. Yeah, that's kind of how it is.
It can look like a green hologram, essentially.
Yeah,
and I think that would kind of work.
That's true.
But certainly, I will say this: after seeing this image, I'm a bit more inclined to expect a better budget than I was thinking at first. I was thinking...
Yeah, I think after this I'm going, okay, they're paying for the body paint.
Oh yeah, we're getting body paint on the other characters who are not normal colours, absolutely. Yeah. Beast Boy's going to be green, Starfire's going to be orange, Raven's easy to do, she's got a hood, she's fine.
She's grey purple anyway though, but you know, that's still...
Yeah.
A lot of the time anyway.
Yeah, I'm just curious if they announce any more team, because I know we get Hawk and Dove as recurring characters, but I feel like there should be like a fifth member. Whether it's
not
Donna,
a team until you get 5, is it?
Whether it's going to be Donna, which would make a lot of sense. Whether it's going to be a Bowman of Arsenal or whoever, or whether it's going to be potentially Kid Flash if we actually steal him from the Flash.
As cool as that would be, because Flash is doing nothing with him, I still don't know if they're going to go down that route of connecting them.
Here's my honest prediction. I don't think it will at first, but I think it'll be like Supergirl. I think they're going to decide in like season 2, no, let's have the crossover include them too.
Well, that's fair. I can see them sticking away from it at first because they want it to kind of prove on its own ground and go, no, this is what this is. It doesn't want to be sullied with the image of anything else. Yeah,
but think about how, let's say you get season 2, how good of a marketing opportunity for people who don't pay for the service to say, here, you get a glimpse of them all on the crossover this year. Oh, where are these all characters from? Oh, Titans? What's that on? Oh, it's over there. Okay, I'll go over there and watch it.
It is smart, yeah.
So, I can see it. I mean, it could go either way. Admittedly, given how much better the suit looks, I mean, who's to say if the actual budget of the show will reflect this, but the suit itself actually looks really high quality to me.
It does.
So, that's pretty cool. I'm down with that. Now, sticking with DC TV shows, because we've got some other news concerning them.
Yeah.
This one's about, because I think it was probably the last news video. It's been 2 weeks, so it's hard to remember when exactly. But in one of them, we were talking about how Black Lightning was taking the Legends slot, and okay, so then Legends will come back later, so where would it go? And I think my guess, which I was willing to put money on, was going to be Monday night. And it was going to be after Supergirl, because Valor wasn't coming back, at least not for more than a few episodes, because it didn't get a back order.
Yep, I remember you saying this.
And it was I think a very good educated guess, a very solid prediction. It made.
Yeah, I didn't argue with it. It was right. I mean, at the time, it seemed the brightest thing possible.
But CW, of course, I couldn't have predicted them doing something stupid. So here's what they actually did. So it's on Monday night. It's just not replacing Valor. It's replacing Supergirl. And you're like,
you say stupid, but is it?
Well, it's more complicated than it needs to be.
It is, but I don't know if it's stupid. I think they might be making the right move.
Well, okay, I'll explain what's happening then, and then you can argue me on it. So, Supergirl's back in January 15th. It's going to have 4 episodes, and then it's going to leave, and then early February, Legends is going to take its place. It's going to run for 9 episodes, which, by the way, means it's got an episode more than last season, which means it's the second year in a row it's had 1 extra episode.
That we've not been told about.
Yeah, season 1 was 16, season 2 was 17, now season 3 will be 18, unless my math... But no, we had 9 episodes before Christmas, and we'll have 9 after Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain that's 18. I'm fairly certain. So, that's going to run for 9 weeks, and then it's going to go back to Supergirl in April, and then that's just going to run until mid-June, which is when it'll finish. So it'll finish later than everything else. The upside to this is that there's no breaks, because it's just going to be Supergirl, Legends, Supergirl, and there'll never be, at least that's what they're saying right now, there's not going to be any breaks in between any episodes.
Yeah.
That is cool, because that's kind of how they're promoting it. They're saying it's going to be like 20-something weeks of uninterrupted original episodes in the Monday 8 o'clock slot. That is their selling point right now, which I can't deny is okay, especially since I like both shows. I can't help but feel I'd rather Arrow take the time off, but, that's just preference.
Look, I'm not disputing that, but here's the thing: if they took Arrow off, it would get to June, and you would have only Arrow that week.
Oh god, that would be dire.
How would you feel then? You'd have nothing to dilute the Arrowness. You just have to have Arrow.
Oh, that's you making a solid point. Because my first reaction was like, oh god, is this them like saying that these are the third and fourth shows and they're the ones more likely to get cancelled because they're moving them into the same slot? And I was a little bit worried at first, and I thought, well, why should there be? Because first of all, like iZombie's been renewed multiple times now, even though it doesn't start till April. So they seem to be okay having like this kind of thing going on. It was making me worried that maybe they'll reduce the episode count for Supergirl next year because they maybe want to like the idea of.
I'm not inherently opposed to that.
It's not the worst thing ever, but again, it's kind of like if you take that and then Arrow, I'm like, well, I don't want to rather chop episodes off of.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, Supergirl actually does better than everything but Flash. So there's actually no reason to think.
I never thought what you were thinking anyway. I think it's a show of strength in Supergirl that it can carry the week on its own in June when they typically have reruns anyway. There's nothing else really original that time of year for CW.
Okay.
Past experience tells me they could always cut in a few, to be honest.
No, they all could be. They all could be cutting a few. So, but regardless, that's what's happening. Legends is back on February 12th. It'll have its season finale on April 9th, and then Supergirl will air after that every Monday until June 18th.
No, I like this. And I think the other reason they've done this is CW only has 10 slots a week.
Oh, of course.
They don't want half of it to be DC.
What does make me wonder, though, is what the hell is the schedule going to be like come new season, come September, October?
It's a very good question. It depends what happens with Black Lightning a lot, I think.
Well, obviously, part of the reason why they're doing this is they want that pass after Flash, because Flash is the most successful one. They want to give that the most chance of being a success.
Yeah, they want that to be the lead-in.
So, it'll just be interesting to see how this plays next year. It's funny, because I feel like, maybe they will like save one of them for after Christmas again. But again, I feel like if Black Lightning's separate from everything else, it makes sense to start with the core 4 again for the crossover. Because here's the thing, this is actually something I wanted to talk about, is the ratings boost that everything gets from the crossover. I think it's very interesting.
Significant?
It's very significant, yeah. Some for more than others. Flash gets the least amount of a boost, but that's because it's already the highest.
It's already the highest, yeah. So it's already got the most people there to begin with. Makes sense.
So I've got the ratings in millions for the episodes before the crossover and the episodes of the crossover, with the exception being Arrow. I actually took episode 6 because the one before the crossover was on Thanksgiving. It seemed unfair to compare that one, which was naturally lower because it was a holiday. So, yeah. So here's the thing. So the weeks before, I'm actually going to tell you what the order was as well. The lowest rated was Arrow still. Counting episode 6 is not Thanksgiving, right? That was at one point.
That makes me glad.
It does make me
Glad
glad
to my
to.
soul.
That got 1.28 million viewers. Legends comes in third at 1.49. Supergirl's second with 1.92, and The Flash at first place with 2.2 million. Right.
I think just before you get to what the crossover is,
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that online I typically see Supergirl being slated the most, as aside from the Arrow haters in general. I typically see people say Supergirl's the worst for these, of what it is. I think clearly this shows what
Fools.
Oh, they are. Don't get me wrong. I will say I agree with them. I think this proves that it carried at least some of its audience over from CBS.
Oh yeah, I think Supergirl has the benefits of having like other audiences to tap into. There'll be a bit more of a female audience because it's Supergirl, perhaps. Yeah. Because of Alex and Maggie, there'll be maybe a bit more of an LGBT audience that maybe don't follow over to the other shows.
And again, even disregarding that, as it started on a bigger network, which it got a lot more views there just by its nature of where it was. So yeah, it had a better start.
So that's actually how they're right. It actually pleases me greatly that Supergirl's second. It really does. And Arrow being in last place is really amusing. But
the thing is, it hurts me that Legends is lower as well, though, because I'm like, Legends is probably my favorite right now. So it hurts me that it's like that low out of the three that I like.
Still better than Arrow.
I will take that to the bank.
So the crossover though. So here's what the jumps were, right, for the crossover. So Supergirl went from 1.92 to 2.71. Right? Pretty good jump.
And obviously that was the start of the crossover, so that's where people are coming into the start of the story. So if there's a loss now, it's people checking out.
The Flash went from 2.2 to 2.82. Still reasonable. Legends went from 1.49 to 2.8.
Damn.
Arrow went from 1.28 to 2.52, which notably is still the weakest of the four, even during the crossover.
This is just live numbers, yes? That you're looking at?
Yes, this is the live millions, yes.
That tells me that people watched Supergirl, went, nah, I'll catch the second part on catch up. And then they checked in for the ending the next night.
Very possibly. It's hard to say, but I think the reason why I want to bring this up is that just in case anyone was worried that they weren't going to do crossovers, I was thinking, maybe they'll just say not to do one next year because we can't top it. No executive at a TV station in their right mind will turn down this easy, guaranteed boost that this is given to all these shows.
It's such a clear correlation that they're like going to go, oh, we're doing more of these.
Yeah, so I guarantee you that we'll have this 4-show crossover again next year.
Honestly, my bigger concern after hearing those numbers is that they're going to go crossover.
Well, I think it's just unfeasible. I think the difficulty of doing it amongst all the other seasons, like shooting, means that they're forced to only have 1 or 2 a year, and because of that, we don't get drowned out in them. So that's a bit more special.
It's kind of nice, isn't it?
It's a nice balance.
It's difficult for them to do, but they definitely want to do them.
So definitely expect it to happen next year, because I'm sure they were charging more for ads over that week or those 2 nights.
I don't blame them.
I'm sure they were. I'm sure that was a bigger price. So
well, I mean, especially I assume we had a similar effect last year with Invasion, so they can go to advertisers. Look, there is a tangible boost. We're charging more because we know we'll get more eyes on it.
Yeah, because I think Legends. I don't have the percentages in front of me, but Legends went up something like 90%. If you put it into percentages, that's how much it went up. And obviously Flash was the lowest by whatever percentage, but it just makes sense.
That still went up about 500,000.
Yeah, it's still went up a significant amount. It's worth mentioning. The ratio, the sort of the range that the crossover was in, the lowest was 2.52 and the highest was 2.82. So they were all pretty consistent.
I would expect that for the most part with a cross, when it was so consistently like one story.
Yeah, honestly, I think condensing it into 2 nights also helped. I think you keep people for a second night a lot easier than you do for 4 nights.
I agree, and I also think it's easier to keep people for just 2 hours ago. Oh well, channel's already on. I'll just sit here and watch the next part rather than having to check in the next night.
All right, well, we'll move on. There's one brief bit of other comic book TV news, but I'll make that very quick, and we'll move on to some other stuff. Because I know some people, I feel like there's a good significant portion of the audience who doesn't give a shit about the comic book stuff and just wants the rest of the TV. But just one little thing about a really bad show. Iron Fist Season 2 has added a cast member. Of semi-note, Alice Eve has been cast in the second season, if you happen to like her.
Why do I care about anything Iron Fist?
Because he's the immortal Iron Fist. He's the protector of Kunlun and the enemy of the hand.
The next thing I want to hear about a Marvel Netflix show is that Punisher is not getting renewed. If I don't hear that, I don't give a shit.
You want cancellations and you want them now.
Yeah, something's got to get cancelled.
Okay. No details on a roll for the record. I'm not just skipping over that. There wasn't any. It's just they were keeping it under wraps. So anyway, let's move on to. We're not actually quite onto the new shows yet. We actually have a couple things.
More stuff
Before that. So I've got a lot of stuff here written down, but basically I'll just sum it up into one simple sentence. Amazon might be ending their pilot season.
Good.
I agree.
About bloody time.
I agree. Obviously, they've shifted management of their entire entertainment division, and apparently just the going idea is now that, no, if we order things straight to series, we can compete much quicker with other things. We can just go straight into it head first. And by all means, I applaud it. Do it. Good.
It is, because I don't know if you mentioned this at the start, Jean-Claude Van Johnson's coming like next week.
It is, yeah.
And I find myself not caring. I liked that first episode a lot. I thought it was really good, but it's been a year and a half since I watched it.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. I don't think we're necessarily going to cover it because we did the first episode. You can go check out our pilot review of that. It's up on the YouTube channel. Yeah, just search "almost cancelled" Jean-Claude Van Johnson. You'll find it. But it doesn't necessarily seem like a show that we might necessarily want to do all the episodes of. Especially, I think I was up for it at the time. I think I said we would, but now that it's like in the middle of all these other like Netflix and Amazon shows hitting, it's like, well, it's kind of a harder way to do. I'm glad we did the Tick. We'll definitely do more Tick when Tick hits, because Tick actually ended up having a really good plot. It was worth talking about.
And maybe Van Johnson will.
It might, yeah, it might. But I do look forward to at least binging it, even if we're not doing it for the show.
It is, but I'd be much more excited if I'd got a trailer a month ago and they went, "Hey, this is coming."
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "Oh, I want to watch this."
Yeah. So here's the first mistake in the news. And when I say mistake, I just mean in terms of the ordering. Mainly because I still thought we were doing news last week. So I made up news last week and then just kept adding to it this week. As a result, my ordering of things is not perfect.
Okay, this is a shambles.
I promised we're done with the comic book TV news. That's not entirely true, although this one's much more serious. So Andrew Kreisberg, we've spoken about before, about his sexual harassment allegations. He was officially fired last week from all the shows. He's done. He's gone.
Good.
And I'll leave it at that. We don't have to talk about it any more than that.
I just on the actual, in terms of the impact on the shows, I think they said Berlanti is stepping back in.
I think, for this season at least, he's stepping in to help the other co-showrunners for the rest of the season. So I imagine they'll probably hire some people for next season. But
he's kind of emergency, being a bit more hands-on.
Yeah, which is fine. That's cool. So it doesn't seem to be affecting schedules or anything like that, which is cool. So
that's probably because he's gone, okay, I'll jump in.
Yeah, it's keeping everything on track, so that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to more serious news. Jeez. Although this one's in the happier end of it. So basically, House of Cards is going back into production early 2018. The notable part of this, though, is that there will be no Kevin Spacey in it. Robin Wright will officially be the lead of this final season. It'll be a shorter season. It'll be 8 episodes, but they're going to give it an ending of some kind.
Yeah.
Honestly,
okay.
The only temptation I'd have to actually finish that show, because I've watched the first 2 seasons, would just be the curiosity of how they do it.
They do it. I'm expecting they just kill him off screen. I know, obviously, this is based on an old British show.
Yeah.
And I know in that version, the character that Spacey essentially plays was killed.
Okay.
And I won't spoil it. I mean, you can. It's it's a lot old show. You can go check out yourself. But it makes sense in a plot.
So. It depends where the last season ended. It might feel abrupt, depending on...
It might feel abrupt, but in terms of at least being part of the original basis, it was somewhere there.
Yeah, because I remember actually the only episode of Two and a Half Men that I watched after maybe a few when it started, right? And it's oh, this is shit. I don't want to watch this. Was when Charlie Sheen was written out the show abruptly and replaced with Ashton Kutcher, and I had to watch that episode. I had to know how they did it. I just had to know.
That and I honestly I had to watch the last episode when I heard what people were saying. I have to see this train wreck. I have to see it.
I never watched the last episode. I just heard about all the
shenanigans. It's the same principle, isn't it? Yeah. It's like this is amazingly horrific,
and that's a sitcom, so I didn't feel bad about jumping into an episode. Whereas with House of Cards, even though I wouldn't like it that much anyway, I don't think I'd want to just jump into.
You'd have to watch the other 2 seasons
because I'd have to have the context.
Yeah, you would
to understand how weird it is. So
yeah.
Whereas when you've got Two and a Half Men, you've got them making fun of Charlie Sheen at his funeral or his character's funeral. It's weird. But anyway, so that's the thing. So that's good. It even mentions specifically that they're happy to give 2,000 people who work in the show in some capacity in Baltimore their jobs back for one more season.
Because they didn't deserve this shit.
They did not. Not did even any of the other actors. Like Robin Wright doesn't deserve to be losing
of course not. Instead, she's essentially got a promotion.
Yeah, she's the lead in the show. And she is more than capable of...
I've seen lots of people really glad that she's getting this. Because obviously I've not seen past season 2 either. But apparently, what she was the best part of the show for the last season, from what people have been saying.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me.
No.
So, all right, ready for new shows? Comedies.
Let's do this.
Okay, NBC is developing an untitled family comedy from School of Rock the musical star Alex Brightman. Not that will mean anything to you, I don't think, but I thought it was worth knowing. The comedy is set in New York City and centres on a struggling 20-something who moves back home with his parents and
hang on, I'm gonna drink.
And a rotating roster of tenants in their oversized, rent-controlled apartment. So we have that whole 20-something moving back with their parents trope that we've had all this season of development. Yep. I do kind of like the idea of all these different wacky neighbours, though, that are also going to be part of it.
It sounds... I'm not going to lie, it sounds like the hotel one.
It does a little bit, but it's just an apartment building instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes
sense. We want to do
sense.
The hotel. We liked that, but we need a smaller set.
Honestly, it's a fine idea for a comedy. It's very simple. Get some kooky characters. The writing's funny. It's fine. So I can't fault it.
No, I'm drinking for the trope. This season's trope, but sounds fine.
As for titles, I can't. There's not enough to go on unless you want something like I don't know, Rent Control or something like that, or
12 in a Room.
Uncontrollable Rent. That's supposed to control. Lack of control. I don't know. You see what I'm doing? You see what I'm doing with it, but it just doesn't sound that good. All right. Anyway, Fox is giving a script commitment to another comedy, a single-camera comedy, called Retraining Day. A sequel to Training Day. No, I'm kidding. But it's called Retraining Day. I was
getting ready to drink then.
No. So it's from Uncle Buck developers, Stephen Cragg and Brian Bradley. And I think that's Uncle Buck the TV show, which means next to nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I didn't see it. Well, I know the movie it's based on, but...
Yeah, I don't know what the TV show is, though.
It only lasted one season. I never saw it, but... Retraining Day centres around Kim, a progressive graduate. Oh, have we got some conservatives as well in this? We'll see.
I'm waiting.
So Kim, a progressive graduate from Berkeley School of Public Policy, who after her husband moves them back to his Missouri hometown, takes a job as the director of a local career centre. But when her well-meaning liberal ideas slam up against her employees and clients' conservative attitudes...
This is a drink, people.
She enlists the help of Dan, an out-of-work factory worker, to act as her cultural translator. Together they form an unlikely friendship and begin building a rickety bridge across the cultural divide. So we're joking because once again we have the conservative and liberal sort of clash. However, I actually think this sounds fit. This to me sounds like it could be the next Trial and Error sort of Parks and Rec style show.
We make fun of these tropes because they keep popping up, but most of them sound all right in their own right. It's just as a pattern that it's funny.
Yeah, that's why it's funny. It's, on their own, they're fine. It's just because we keep getting the same ideas.
Yeah.
But I think that sounds fine. The idea that she's got a translator to translate for the conservative people.
I can see that being hilarious.
I can see that being good. Yeah. So, again, depending on rating, this could actually be pretty funny. So, cool. Sticking with Fox, they have put in development another single-camera comedy called Breadwinners, coming from actor Kyle Bornheimer, who apparently was on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't know who that is, though.
By the name, I couldn't tell you.
He's also going to star in it. In Breadwinners, when an out-of-work dad, played by Bornheimer, decides to try and reinvent himself as a chef, he tumbles headfirst into the wild world of the current foodie revolution, dragging his family along with him.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever heard the word foodie before.
No. I was debating whether to drink or not, because foodie revolution sounds like a millennial thing. You know, this whole Instagramming food nonsense bollocks instead of just eating it.
I don't think it's that. I think it's...
I hope it's not.
I think it's new, extreme and silly recipes and stuff, and thinking outside the box.
If it's hipster deconstructed bollocks, then I'm boycotting this show.
All right. CBS are developing a multi-camera comedy, a legal sitcom, not a legal drama, a legal sitcom.
It's better.
That comes from a winner of Survivor. What a weird thing.
And in sentences I didn't expect to hear on this news show.
So the project, it's called John Cochran, by the way, the Survivor winner, in case you care. The project is titled Class Action. I remember this after when I read it last week. Honestly, I think it's a good title for what it is.
It was a good title already. Just in terms of as a legal sitcom, so I like it.
It will follow a law student looking for an easy way out. Who gets more than he bargained for when he finds himself in a class where he and an eclectic group of fellow law students are required to argue actual cases in court. So it's a law class actually having to do cases. So Class Action, perfect title.
That's good. I kind of like this.
Yeah, it's CBS multi-camera, but
well, yeah, this is CBS comedy in itself isn't bad. The multi-camera thing is off-putting, but as a premise, not entirely bad. I like the idea of legal sitcoms. It's just the legal dramas that are tedious bollocks.
Oh yeah, Trial and Error was great. Trial and Error, one of my best sitcoms in the last year in terms of new stuff.
It's on my to-watch list.
Love it. John Lithgow, it's fantastic. Okay, so next up, CBS again, yes. So we've got a History of Them, it's called. It's coming from On Your Feet star Anna Valafane. I probably butchered that name, but it's got a pilot commitment, a multi-camera comedy again. History of Them is a multicultural, and then in brackets it says Latina and white. Okay, you have to specify, but okay. Multicultural romantic comedy about how two friends, Luna and Adam, fell in love. Narrated by their future daughter, using the couple's social media from present day, i.e. Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, as a guide.
I hate this with a passion.
First of all, it's very How I Met Your Mother.
The framing device, yeah.
Yeah, it's very from the future, except instead of telling the story to someone, the future voice is reading the story from social media.
Like in some ways, I like the idea that it'll be this version with a sheen. It's what they put on social media, so it'll be this idyllic version. However, it doesn't mention the parents there to correct them. Oh no, that's not what really happened. We just said that, you know.
Yeah. If
that's
actually,
where I can see the promise being with them going, oh, let me tell you how it really happened.
Yeah, if you actually played with that, it's especially an interesting thing to explore because we don't have all these things for a long enough time yet, where we have like a young generation who get to like, you know, their 20s and go, wait, why is there baby photos? Like, you know, like mothers now like put up photos of their babies like every single day for their, you know, for the first like however many years of their life.
Yeah.
Right? So the idea that eventually we're going to have this generation who's in their 20s or adults and their entire life is going to be chronicled on their parents' social media pages.
Well, that's it. Like for our lives are chronicled, but privately. Our parents have those pictures. But for them, when they get there, they will be public. Like anyone can see that.
It's a very generational difference that's just gradually happened over the last 10 years.
It's one of those where we can all see it's going there. We all know it's going to happen. We're just not there yet.
Yeah. And I'm glad I was born just early enough to avoid that because
oh, thank God.
When I see when I see some of these posts where parents will put up, oh, the kids are opening their present on Christmas and look at how, or they'll be like, oh, look at how happy it looks doing this, and I'm like, oh God, I'm glad this doesn't exist for me.
Yeah, I don't mind like my mum having that picture because sure, you have your picture for you. That's who it's for. No one else cares. The parents themselves, they care about having those pictures. That's fine. I get that.
I can attest that, yes, I don't care about other kids, other parents' kids on my social media.
Exactly. But you get why your own parents care about having pictures of you. I get that, but I don't get why I need to see it.
Oh no, I burned them all. I found them. They're gone. I want to be off grid. No history.
You wish.
Here
you are publicly on YouTube.
I want people to think that I just time travelled here when I was 18. There's no record of my childhood anywhere. No record.
I want someone to go back and find all the times you talked about your school life.
I'm joking, of course. I didn't actually burn all my childhood photos.
Yeah, I think your mum might kill you.
She probably would. She would. She would. All right, sticking with CBS, they are developing a comedy from Blake Anderson and David Hornsby, both attached to star in it if it moves ahead. So they're both actors, writers, producers. It's currently untitled, single camera. Oh, single camera on CBS, that's a novelty. It will follow a high-strung father, played by Hornsby, who must deal with a new family dynamic when his ex-wife marries a younger, free-spirited dude, played by Anderson, who becomes the stepdad to his children.
Okay.
It sounds kind of like that movie Stepdad that was out recently.
It does, doesn't it?
Except you don't have John Lithgow. And that movie was meant to be terrible, despite the fact that it had John Lithgow, but...
John Lithgow raises anything he's in.
He does, yeah. I'm sure it went from like a 1 to a 3 just because he was in
it. Yeah. That sounds plausible.
It does. I mean, yeah, it could be fine, but it's not screaming anything at me that I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it sounds really standard, but that's not necessarily an awful thing.
Pop has ordered a pilot.
Who?
Pop. Ever heard of Pop?
No.
I've heard of Pop. Pop's a channel. We don't talk about them much, but they exist. They do shows.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
I feel like this is a big practical joke here.
No, it's Pop. Pop is a channel, and they've ordered a half-hour comedy pilot for a supernatural comedy in which Kristen Ritter, aka Jessica Jones, is producing. So it had a name attached. I thought, okay, we'll talk about this because it's got people that we know.
It's got something that I've heard of.
It's called The Demons of Doreen Gunn, which is an interesting title. The project follows a disgraced New York socialite, Doreen Gunn, who discovers he's descended from a long line of demon hunters and is forced to abandon his life of leisure to protect humanity from monsters as they emerge from the gates of hell.
Sounds like my sort of sitcom.
It doesn't sound like a sitcom at all. It sounds a bit more of like an action show.
I'm assuming in the sense of, Ash vs Evil Dead.
I could see that, yeah, if that's the way they're going with it, yeah. Even that, I wouldn't call that a sitcom, though.
No, but like in terms of tone, at least, getting towards that.
To be fair, though, it just says half-hour supernatural comedy, so that could actually be in that vein. It doesn't say sitcom specifically.
Yeah, that's half hour, right? Ash vs Evil Dead.
Well, yes, but it's a full half hour. It's not 22 minutes. It's 30 minutes because there's no ads on Starz.
I remember it not being like a 40.
Yeah, it's an interesting sort of length. It's kind of like on Netflix. You got Glow or Dear White People tend to hit around
29, 32. Yeah,
something in that range. Which is nice. I like that they experiment with the lengths a little bit. So I don't know, like if Pop have ads.
You say you've heard of them. Can you name me anything else they've ever done?
Not original. They do reruns. They do a lot of reruns of stuff.
Okay.
I have actually seen them. I've seen them on TV. I've flicked through and seen Pop.
All right, fine. I believe you.
And Pop Junior.
I don't channel hop very much.
Well, I've not in years, but I remember Pop being there when I did. There was two Pops. There was Pop and Pop Junior, I think. Or was it Pop something? I don't know. There was a second Pop. I've said Pop a lot in the last 3 minutes.
It's a stupid name. I think that's why I'm so against it. Why couldn't you channel Pop? Go. Let's phone the Australians. Let's get Stan back.
I'm sure they still got Stan. I don't think that's gone anywhere.
Well, Stan's better than Pop.
Although Australia just got Amazon.
Only just?
Yeah, they just got this year. Like in the last couple of weeks. They didn't have Amazon.
I don't know how to comprehend that. I can't imagine not having Amazon for that long.
I feel like me cracking some jokes about the railroad getting there anytime soon. That's just insane.
Like Amazon's kind of like
to be fair,
basic human right at this point.
I think it was like just rules like Amazon just couldn't launch there because they had like the rules that they didn't apply, they didn't fit into.
Yeah.
So it took a long time before they either listened to the rules or Amazon was eligible or whatever. I don't know. Like I don't know if it's just like business rules in Australia. They just couldn't do it. They just couldn't go and open it.
But I know Australia didn't have Netflix till like this year or last year.
Yeah, it's been a bit
Still
longer.
Relatively, it was later than everyone else.
Well, yeah, because they had Stan while we had Netflix for a while, and then they got Netflix later.
Yeah.
Poor Australians.
Or Australians.
I know.
Yeah. No.
To be fair though, they did have Ezzy DVD, which I have ordered a few Australian discs in my time from. That's what they use, I think, more than anything for their movie buying needs.
All right. Okay. It's no Amazon though, is it?
Now they've got Amazon.au. That's the funny thing. It didn't exist, but for years you knew what the address was going to be.
Yeah.
You knew it was going to be AU. So there you go.
What's Austria's one?
I have no idea. Did they just share the one with Germany? Maybe.
Oh, maybe. It's
Which is
a reasonable assumption.
D. That's Germans.
Yeah.
.d. Yeah. Okay, why are we talking about what web addresses
It
are in
just
other
occurred
countries?
to me that I was like, well, hang on, AU.
Aye, they've accounted for that. Yeah.
I'm sure they are.
I think Australia got there first. They said, no, we're having that.
They
So
got there
grabbed
first, but they're only getting it now.
Which is funny, because even if like Australia or Austria said, oh, we'll add another letter then, we'll have AUS, that still could be either.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it sprung to mind. I'm like, well, they got a while.
Anyway, so next show then, we have a show from Hulu. It's been picked up for development. It's a half-hour comedy. It's called Ace of Spades, and it's based on a author, TV writer David Matthews' memoir. Matthews is writing the adaptation of his own book. When Matthews' Jewish mother abandoned him as an infant to join the Israeli army, she left him with his white skin and his black militant father, a broke, once prominent civil rights journalist who wants to raise his son as a proud black warrior. The show will follow Matthews' absurd double life as he pretends to be a rich white Jewish teenager in segregated 1980s Baltimore. This is insane. This is a true story. That's it.
I'm drinking just based on that.
Yeah, that sounds like such a wacky plot idea that it feels like someone made this up. But no, this was kind of a weird circumstance where, I mean, I don't know anything about this before. I'm just going from this description. But this idea that he was left with his black father, he looks white, so he was with the black neighborhood or whatever.
Yeah,
growing
but he'll
up.
have felt out of place.
Yeah,
or looked out of place at the very least, even if he'd felt like he was raised that way.
yeah. I think that's an interesting thing to explore.
Yeah.
It sounds like. I mean, I'm going to assume it's going to be a more dramatic comedy rather than a sitcom. It sounds like it's going to have more serious beats to it, even if it's funny.
I think so. I think it's one of those that'll be applicable, in all sorts of ways. Where you have like immigrants who come over and then they'll have children who were born in that country.
Yeah.
But people assume that they're from somewhere else, and in that same way, it'll be this here, but in reverse. It could be interesting.
No, it could be cool. So it's an interesting idea. And the fact that it's the person himself who wrote the book and actually his experiences writing it, I'm expecting a lot of nuance. I'm expecting a lot of like subtle things that no one else would ever think about because he actually lived it. So,
yeah, it's the sort of thing you can only do if you know it.
Yeah, so it sounds interesting. I think there's potential there. All right, YouTube Red has
Still a thing. Every time I feel like I hear about it once every 3 or 4 months. I'm like, oh yeah, that exists.
Yeah, but none of the shows that we've announced have actually started yet, so it has to still be a thing, or they've all been cancelled.
Well, that's what I just assume in my mind. I kind of go, no, that's not going to happen.
Well, will it shock you then if I say there's 2 YouTube Red stories?
Oh, greatly.
YouTube Red has given a pilot order to action comedy Wayne. Now, I wasn't actually sure if this was a half hour or hour, so I just put it here, but it could very well end up being the full hour, depending. But Wayne, created and written by Sean Simmons, from School of Rock. I don't know if that's a TV show or the movie. Is described as a gritty and sometimes bloody tale. In it, 15-year-old Wayne set out on a dirt bike with his new crush Dell to take back the 1978 Pontiac Trans Am that was stolen from his father before he died. It is Wayne and Dell against the world. So it's like a teenage road trip and violent.
Sounds potentially a lot of fun.
Potentially. I have no idea what the tone really is going to be, beyond the fact that it says action comedy.
I know what I want it to be.
Yeah.
Based on that description. Whether that's what it is a very different thing.
Yeah, it's also funny. Other than the fact that it says sometimes bloody tale, I would never necessarily have assumed that it was going to be like a violent sort of action show, just from the rest of the description.
Not at all.
You know, just be like getting to it and finding where it is rather than. But it sounds like he's going to have like an opposition and like, you know, maybe like a gang stole it or something.
That's what I'm hoping for.
You have to fight through the gang to get to it.
I'm hoping it just goes full batshit insane. He pulls out some swords.
You're wanting blood drive, basically, is what you're wanting.
That is basically what I want. Yeah.
Yeah, you want a blood drive sort of.
I want YouTube to do blood drive.
Also, YouTube Red, they have given a green light to a dark comedy pilot called Widow.
I'm sorry, I'm just drinking on the fact that there is 2 YouTube Red stories.
Oh god. Yeah, so this is Widow is about Rachel, a young woman whose husband dies while they're in the middle of a rough patch. She does not handle it well. That's it.
Okay.
I actually kind of applaud the wit of that description. Like, I kind of appreciate that they know they have nothing they want to tell us, so they just go, she does not handle it well. Done.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I appreciate it. So that's okay. So we have one more comedy. This one's Netflix. So they have actually given the green light to a British produced show called Sex Education. The coming of awkward age dramedy, which was created by newcomer Laurie Nunn, tells the story of Otis Thompson, a socially awkward high school virgin who lives with his sex therapist mother. He teams up with the whip-smart bad girl Maeve to set up a clinic to deal with their fellow students' weird and wonderful problems. So this is kind of that classic. It's kind of like Veronica Mars, how she became like a private eye for the school because her dad was a PI. This is kind of that, but it's a kid doing it because his mother's a sex therapist.
Yeah. This can either be hilarious or just really cringy.
Yes.
I don't know which. And there's maybe it'll ride that perfect line of cringy but hilarious.
It may, yeah.
It's a thin line, but if you can get it, it's fantastic.
There's potential. I like the idea that he steals some of his mother's like books, like, you know, or like reading material or journals on the. It's
the sort of line that someone like Ricky Gervais usually gets down, you know, where it's it's really cringy and it's just awkward, but it's still funny.
Also, I can't wait for a scene where he just has to ask his mother advice about something to help with someone else's problem, and he's like describing this sex act. Yeah. And it'll just be this awkward thing where he has to listen to his mother talk about like something really specific, sex-wise, something really specific, but he has to like sort of grind his teeth and like take it basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, sounds like an interesting idea at the very least. So, we're on to some dramas.
Let's do this.
All things considered, we're actually not doing too bad on time.
We're not.
We're at about an hour, give or take. It's hard to tell, but admittedly, I'm just looking at the page number we're on out of the total.
Are we about halfway?
We're about
more than halfway.
Yeah, we're literally just onto the first of the second half, if that makes sense.
And let's bear in mind this included the quote quick section.
That's true. The dramas tend to get more discussion. That's true. So first up, this is something we did hear about before, but this is now official, and there's got a bit of a twist, a twist on the story, because the news we had a few weeks ago was that the CW were looking to develop a Sabrina the Teenage Witch show.
I recall.
And we were like, oh, that sounds cool. Hopefully, they do this, they do that. We were very optimistic about it. We liked the comic book that it's based on, even though we've only read like maybe one issue because the schedule on it's really weird. But I do plan on reading the whole thing once some of it's came out in bulk. So here's the twist though. It's been greenlit, but not by the CW. It's been greenlit by Netflix. Netflix have greenlit it for 2 seasons. 2 10-episode seasons, yeah. That's what's happening.
10 episodes, okay.
2 10-episode seasons, yeah.
So they're playing it like a Netflix show then, in terms of ordering at least.
Yeah. Now, obviously, CW have a lot of deals with Netflix to air their shows internationally after they've aired. And even when the season ends domestically, they still...
I think it's a week, and then they go on there.
Yeah. And they all go on Netflix. So they have like a close relationship with Netflix. They seem to like working with them for a lot of different reasons and things. So it's interesting to me. Now, they're still saying they don't actually know if it'll exist in the same universe. And honestly, I kind of hope it doesn't, because I feel like if this is going to be a 10-episode Netflix show, I want it to be a 10-episode Netflix show.
You don't want it to go, ugh, Archie, don't drag me down.
Yeah. So I do kind of, I want, like, and they're saying, here's the official word here. The 1-hour drama is based on the comic Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and I love that they're basing it on that specifically.
That's the horror one, right?
That's the horror one, yeah.
Yeah.
which reimagines the origin and adventures of Sabrina as a dark coming-of-age story that traffics horror, the occult, and witchcraft. The series is described as being tonally in the vein of horror classics like Rosemary's Baby and The Exorcist, and we will see Sabrina wrestling to reconcile her dual nature as a half-witch, half-mortal, while standing against the evil forces that threaten her, her family, and the daylight of world humans inhabit.
I'm sorry, you tell me it's tonally like those, and you tell me it's in the same universe as Riverdale, and
yeah, bullshit.
my brain doesn't work.
Bullshit. This to me feels like it's going to be more Netflixy, but maybe they're going for more of a, say, hit television show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer kind of feel. You can't blame me for that one. This is clearly what this...
This was an easy one.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, but I'm into this. I am into a more serious Sabrina. I mean, I have fond memories of the original show. I liked it as a kid. But it's been a long time. I'm tempted to do a rewatch at some point just to see how it holds up with adult eyes.
Probably not well.
Probably not well. Although Salem is fantastic. And
I think this is something that on CW I could see exactly what this was going to be. And that's fine. It's still been very enjoyable. But I'm way more excited about it on Netflix.
Yeah, this is a lot more exciting. I feel like we're going to get something that's a bit more interesting and a bit more teeth, perhaps, than we'd have had on
definitely.
CW. So I'm down. And they're saying occult, they're saying Exorcist, they're saying Rosemary's Baby. If they actually want to try and make it scary, that'd be fantastic. It doesn't need to be, but if they accomplish that, I'll be...
I can see them going for it now, like, because obviously the CW tones it down, makes it more family-friendly, teenage-friendly, I should say. Whereas this, they'll be like, oh, no, let's just go for it. Let's just make this a Netflix show, which is that's the appeal of having a Netflix, right?
And I think this kind of falls into the category of, obviously they want teens to watch. I think it'll still be teen-friendly in terms of, I mean, it's on Netflix, so anyone can get to it, but like, it'll be teen-friendly in that it won't be necessarily like a hard R rating per se, but I think you're going to get like maybe FX level of horror.
Yeah, to speak specifically to Netflix, maybe something like Hemlock Grove. I never watched it, but that was allegedly that was aimed at teens to an extent, but was still a bit more mature than what you might get on the CW.
But here's what I think the intended effect this year is to get the teenagers just now, but all of us who are older that remember the original series, who remember it fondly, but wouldn't necessarily want to watch another retelling of the exact same thing because it'd be too kiddie for us. They're wanting us to all be like, oh, a more aged up, a more adult-friendly Sabrina.
They want the Power Rangers effect.
Yes. They want all the people who have nostalgia for it to go, oh, I will check out this cooler, darker version of Sabrina. That should be interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm in for Salem.
And more people should have watched the Power Rangers movie.
And more people should have. It was better than it had any right to be, and it's probably not getting a sequel now because it didn't do that well.
Yeah, and they wanted like 6 sequels, and I want them all.
I do want them all.
Screw you all for not going to see it.
They gave us that tease for the next movie at the end, and I'm like, damn it, no, I'm just not going to get it.
Yeah.
But no, cool news. That was unexpected. I mean, obviously we expected it to be greenlit, but not by a different network. not by Netflix.
That's a swerve and a half.
So it's interesting. It's interesting that relationship between essentially Warner Brothers and Netflix is going well when
it has to be.
When Disney are kind of abandoning Netflix for their own thing. Which, by the way, I actually forgot to put it in. We do have some updates on the Disney Fox thing. We'll save that to the end.
I was going to ask when you mentioned Fox comedies, but I thought I'll save it.
No, Joe, it is because during the week there was some news, and I was going to put it in, but I actually said no. I'll wait until we're almost about to record. Update. Yeah, and then I just forgot to actually go back and put it in. So we'll talk about it at the end. There wasn't a whole lot of details to remember anyway. It was mostly just some broad things. But so we'll talk about that at the end. So no, Sabrina the Teenage Witch show. Hopefully, I really hope they just call it the Chilling Tales of Sabrina. I'd actually really be down for that title.
I can see them going for it.
Yeah,
just to say to you, okay, this is different.
Yeah, I can see it just being Sabrina. It's not going to be Sabrina the Teenage Witch because that's got a different tone. It's the same as the old show.
Yeah, if it had been on the CW, I'd have expected that. But this, no, not at all.
This was a last minute addition. This next story. It's also an update on something we'd heard about before, but we only heard about it once. It was only a one-time thing. We heard about it sometime in May.
God. Right?
So we knew Netflix were working on this, but we actually have some proper news to go along with it. Lauren Schmidt Hisrich, if I said that right, has been hired to adapt and be the showrunner for The Witcher.
Ooh. Oh,
So,
this is moving forward.
yeah,
This is happening. This is real.
This is a real thing. Yeah, this is a real thing now. They've actually hired people to work on it. So yeah, so like stories of which it's based, Netflix's The Witcher chronicles monster hunters who, with training and body modification, develop supernatural abilities at a young age to battle deadly beasts. Husserts will serve as showrunner and executive producer. She has worked previously on Defenders and Daredevil, but obviously she wasn't the showrunners on those shows. Which is why you're making a face, but I don't think that's a...
no, I'm just thinking in terms of... Presumably she was still a writer on those shows. I'm just thinking in terms of quality of dialogue in those and writing.
Yeah, but how do you know like who's responsible for what?
I don't at all. Which is why I'm just thinking as to... it was a face of, okay, there's good dialogue and there's bad dialogue in both those shows.
Yeah, but we know she wasn't the one calling the shots on those shows, so I wouldn't necessarily worry about that being indicative of what this is going to be. Hopefully this is her big shot to like sort of prove herself. And
honestly, I'm just glad this exists.
I'm glad it exists too. I am so down for it. I'm so down for a Witcher show. It's very rare you hear me say that about a fantasy show, but I'm really down for Witcher.
yeah. Cherish this, people. It'll never happen again.
I wouldn't say no to a never-ending story thing. I like never-ending story.
You have some... Like, of all the fantasy in the world that you could go, oh, these are the ones I'm excited for. That's it.
I'm sorry, but does Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings have Falkor? I think not. Or a kick-ass theme tune that you can sing in the shower?
Yes, to both.
Both?
Game of Thrones does, for sure.
Ba 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 da da. Okay, you can sing that. Okay. Okay. You
Lord
can
of the Rings has like six themes that you could just off.
Yeah, but sure. Like not with lyrics, not with like. Okay, I know there's songs at the end that have lyrics, but they're in like Latin or something like that. So don't even start me.
Elvish.
Really? They actually sung them in Elvish? Oh, that is so lame. That is so nerdy.
Tolkien was a linguist studier. He created these languages. He wrote down the entire languages for people to use. Alright,
so you wouldn't roll your eyes if at the end of the next Star Trek episode they sing a song in Klingon?
If it's the Klingons doing it, probably not, no. It would be weird, because Klingon is inherently a harsh language and we don't like it. But Elvish is quite a nice language.
I legitimately did not know that was a made-up language. Yeah. I just assumed it was like Latin or something like that I didn't recognise. No. God damn it. That is annoying.
Tolkien's big on languages. That was his main study.
The point being is that neither of those tracks are as good as the Neverending Story theme song, right?
I might fight you on this one.
That is a classic theme song.
This is where I'm standing my ground.
I love that theme song.
It's not bad. I'm not disputing that. I'm not saying it's bad, but Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones are both up there.
And I all like the first movie. I barely remember the second movie. The third one had a punky teenage Jack Black in it, but I don't remember it being very good. The first one, no. Never-ending story. Quality. Anyway.
This was a tangent I didn't expect.
I'm still blaming you. If you just accepted that the theme song was the best one, we could have avoided this whole thing. Anyway. So
people will side with me in the comments.
Well, of course, people are going to side with you because people like Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. Like I'm in the minority with those.
Awesome.
Witcher never read a story. That's the fantasy stuff to strive for. Possibly, I mean, that's the thing. I like Skyrim well enough, but I don't think the mythology itself is that interesting enough to really promote as being up there.
I hate you sometimes.
I have no idea what the story of Skyrim is. I can't tell you. There was some magicians up in a mountain.
The main story? Yeah, alright, I'll give you that one. That's bollocks. Bethesda can't write main stories for shit. But the lore of the world is phenomenal.
Yeah, okay, sure. Okay, moving on. We're still on Netflix. They've landed an untitled pitch, which is a weird thing to say, but that's what they've got here. They've got an untitled pitch that's coming from Oscar-winning animation director Patrick Osborne, who will helm this show, whatever it is, from a script that will be written by Emma Needle, or Needle, I should say, because it's like E-double-L at the end, rather than Needle, the word, just to specify. The plot has been held under wraps, but so you're probably thinking, well, why are we talking about it? What do we have to go on? But it does say it's in the vein of The Jungle Book and The Wizard of Oz, that centres on a young boy who travels into a fantasy world in his dreams to break away from reality.
Okay. It said this director's award-winning stuff. What's he done?
I have no idea. It didn't say in the
Oh,
article.
okay. Well, this was a shit article.
Animation director. So I don't think it's going to be animation. It doesn't sound like this will be animated itself.
No, I think I was thinking that when you said that, but nothing else.
Or
Says
maybe the fantasy elements. Maybe they'll do like a weird stylistic thing where that's more
maybe they'll
animated.
mix and match. Yeah, I can see it.
I can see that being a thing. I thought that premise though, what we got of it was interesting enough to actually mention and say, hey, they're working on this thing.
Yeah, and Netflix working on anything is always interesting now.
Very very different to a lot of their other stuff as well. Going for obviously this would maybe go closer to like say a series of unfortunate events in terms of the catalogue as to who it appeals to.
Speaking of, do we know when we're getting that back yet?
We got the first images of season 2 recently,
so probably not January.
Well, it was January last year, or this year I should say. We're in this weird place where I feel like saying last year for 2017, even though
No, I'm
but no date yet. But I would imagine it's still going to be relatively early in the year, just because of they've got images pumping out for them now. So I would guess like March, April, if I was to give you an estimate.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Which kind of fits into that whole, it's like a year and 3 months now for all these shows.
Yeah.
So that sounds interesting. Sticking with Netflix, they have also picked up a Chinese detective drama. They didn't make it; they're going to like distribute it for the rest of the world. But they struck a deal with Alibaba owned Yoku. It's an SVOD service, and they've picked up the show's called Day and Night. This is the weird part of this story. This just maybe shows how different TV works in China. Is it's already started airing there, right? And it doesn't say here it's X seasons or it's on a season, whatever. It just says it's a 32-part series. Which to me sounds like a 3-season Netflix show, essentially. Right? You got 12 and 2 10s, right?
But the way they imply it there is like it's going to air as 32 in a row.
So, which it might do, I don't know. But it launches in China in August. It follows a detective who attempts to clear his twin brother from a murder charge. After recusing himself from the case, he is hired as a secret consultant by the new investigator.
Sounds all right. I like the fact that, okay, they've got, it's 32 parts. We know this has an start, middle, and end.
Yeah.
It has a story structure by its nature. So that's a good thing when you have a story like this.
Yeah, it's a finite conclusion. And, it sounds fine. I don't think it maybe streams out at me, but I'd definitely be tempted to check it out.
Yeah, I don't think it's a must-watch, but it's definitely nothing that makes me go, oh, I don't want to see that.
Yeah. Depending on how busy, because sometimes they'll launch these foreign shows on the same day as another show on Netflix, so depending on how busy they decide. Because there's a French series hitting at the end of December called The Mantis, which we were going to check out until they happened to announce that Black Mirror was also launching the same day, and we also had Travelers launching just like the same week or like a week before that.
Two before,
So we know we're too busy to actually take on the third show, so unfortunately that means The Mantis is not getting done. But, so like I say, if it's a quieter time, binge show wise, then we'll probably give it a look-see when it launches.
Yeah. Really, Netflix have too much stuff, and they need to calm down so we can keep up.
Also at Netflix, we have... I'm not even joking, the next one's Netflix.
No. I didn't think you were joking either.
I just had to stop and laugh because it was just too funny. Anyway, So Netflix is launching its next French language original series. It's untitled right now. It's a half-hour romantic dramedy set in modern-day Paris. They already launched their first one, Marseille, a while ago. That's now having its second season. This is going to be an 8-episode show. It follows a group of friends who embark on a misguided attempt to help their perpetually single girlfriend, Elsa, regain her faith in dating and find love. But things take an unexpected turn when they set Elsa up with a seemingly perfect bachelor who happens to be a male escort. Doesn't sound like it's for us, but hey, again,
it doesn't sound bad. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, it sounds like if you like romantic comedies, you're probably going to have fun with this. Obviously, for us, it's not the sort of thing we cover.
Yeah, no, I need my romantic comedies to have a twist.
But if they said like who happens to be like a robot, I'd be like, yeah, I'm in. If they said happens to be a ghost, I'm in. But
from the future.
He's from the future or the past or whatever. Pick your time travel element. But male escort, okay, I can see where the joke's going to come. It could. I mean, if I hear it's great, like sure, like maybe then.
Yeah, I'm not inherently against it, but I'm never going to be excited for these things.
Yeah, so it's them having a good variety of things on the platform. So we're finally done with Netflix. And we're on to CBS All Access, who, again, we'd actually heard about this before, but now it's official, now it's officially been greenlit, and that is the Twilight Zone reboot, which is coming from Jordan Peele and Simon Kinberg, as well as Marco Ramirez. Jordan Peele will be involved in the premiere specifically as a talent. Now, it doesn't necessarily mention if he's going to just write it, he's going to write and direct it. I imagine he probably will.
Yeah.
So
maybe he'll go all out, right? Direct star.
Yeah, for the first episode, yeah, because again, he's only committing to that for one episode, so I can see him going all in.
It's only an hour.
Yeah, well, it may not be. The original show wasn't.
Oh, okay, that's true.
Original show was a 25-minute show.
Yeah. I'm assuming they're bumping up for this.
It very well possibly is, but they don't actually mention it, so we have no.
No, you're right.
Idea. So yeah, there's not much else to say really. The original show ran from 59 to 64. It was rebooted a couple of times, most notably in the 80s. So this is kind of the new big version of it. I will say this though, if CBS All Access are trying to bolster their catalogue by things that are interesting to people, I think they got a new Star Trek show. Having a new Twilight Zone is another big thing from their catalogue.
I think
a good
what's
idea.
Interesting is I don't think they're appealing to different audiences.
They're going, yeah.
We want the people we've got for Star Trek to stick around.
Do you know what I think it is? I think they know that CBS itself does not appeal to those people. This is an attempt to get people like us.
Right, so they're going. The people who watch CBS are never going to watch these shows, most likely anyway. So they're like, well, we've got them on CBS anyway. We'll get them from the ad money. Everyone else, the other people, we can get with these genre shows.
To be more specific, they're going for the enthusiasts. They want the nerds. They want the people who obsess over their shows. They want people who buy the merchandise. They want people who talk about it on stupid YouTube videos.
And we've seen with Discovery, they're willing to put the money in up front in this risk. They're willing to gamble and go, okay, we're going to try this properly instead of half-assing it.
And they've been relatively successful from Discovery. They've been happy from the sounds of it from the subscribers so far.
They must be if they're putting another show on. Otherwise, they'd be a dead service.
And renewing it for season 2 as well.
Yeah, of course.
In Discovery's case. So look, good news. I'm happy to have a new Twilight Zone. That'll be something exciting to cover every week when it hits, I think.
It will, yeah.
New standalone, because Black Mirror wouldn't exist without Twilight Zone. I think that's a fair statement to say. Not. So it's nice to have that coming back in some capacity. So moving on then to USA Network, they've put in development a limited series about President Ronald Reagan from Empire co-executive producer David Rambo. That's a great name, by the way.
That is a good name.
I wish my name was Rambo. So Untitled
He
series,
definitely changed his name to that.
You think that's just a pen name or your stage name, if you will? Untitled series, it's described as an intimate exploration of what made Ronald Reagan an American paragon. Beloved husband and complex father, chronicling his early days as a lifeguard, his tumultuous years in Hollywood, and his triumphs and tragedies as president. Sure, I'm not particularly interested in this.
As someone who likes history, I'm down.
I'm not someone who typically likes biopics in terms of movies.
Yeah.
There's the odd exception where, okay, that was actually quite good. For the most part, though, I tend to be kind of lukewarm on them, mainly because I feel like you have this thing where you don't have a typical structure because you're just telling the true story of how someone lived.
I agree. I think it can work better as a TV show, though, in the idea of you can go, okay, this is this point for life. This is this point. You can kind of jump through rather than having, okay, here's 20 minutes on that part of his career.
I think the ones I especially dislike are the ones where they go through the entire life. I think it works better when it focuses on just one kind of main event or section.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm not particularly excited about this, but I mean, it could be good. Could be interesting. So that's USA Network doing that. Now, Universal Cable Productions, this is actually kind of like one we had before, last episode, where
they couldn't decide. Where
it's not on Sci-Fi or USA, although this one actually says that they'll shop to those two networks, but they're also going to shop elsewhere. So this is a kind of an even weirder one, where it's going, okay, we'll offer it to them first, but if they say no, then we'll take it to elsewhere.
Yeah, okay.
So Universal Cable Productions are developing a series based on the famous novel Slaughterhouse-Five. It's going to be adapted and written and executive produced by happy showrunner Patrick McManus. So obviously that just started this week. So interesting, he's already getting work based on that. So he's got an overall deal with Universal Cable Productions, which is why it's been developed there. So it makes sense. Happy's on Sci-Fi. Yeah. So, again, another thing for them. So, published in 1969, Slaughterhouse-Five is considered a satirical classic. Drawing from science fiction and Vonne's own experiences with World War II, the book tells the story of Billy Pilgrim, who is a chaplain's assistant in the US Army. He survives the firebombing of Dresden. The narrative unfolds in a disjointed, non-linear fashion as Pilgrim becomes unstuck in time, and the novel bounces from one point to another in his life. Yeah, so that's the premise, which I'm glad they put that there because I've never read the book, so I was happy to
Me either.
read the description. I know when I was in school, I know some of the other classes did it. Like my class didn't, but you know how there was multiple English classes.
Yeah. Well, what wasn't on my curriculum at all.
Yeah, I know some classes did it, but mine's did not. I can't remember what we did instead, but it wasn't that. So, but cool. I'll be interested to see this story if this pans out.
Yeah, I could, out of the if they go into the home networks first, I could see Sci-Fi more.
Yeah.
Than USA.
Yeah, I can see Sci-Fi more, but actually, it sounds like it'd be perfect on FX. I don't know why, but for some reason, I feel like FX is the perfect place for it.
You're right. I can see it on FX
because it's a bit of sci-fi, but it's maybe a bit more serious. So
yeah,
I mean that's it. Obviously, sci-fi has some serious stuff too, but I don't know. It just feels more FX-y to me. But
no, I get what you're saying.
All right, let's move on to the next story. France's Federation Entertainment, the makers of the Bureau of Marseille, is teaming with an indie Polymor Italian company called Polymor to co-produce a show. Now you're probably saying, why are we even talking about this?
You're speaking names, but it's just going through me.
So there's no network yet or anything like that, but this was interesting enough that I felt it was worth talking about. So this French-Italian co-production is called That Dirty Black Bag. That's the title. That Dirty Black Bag. It's currently in development. It is a Western steampunk series.
Okay, I'm interested.
Created by Mauro Aragoni, who is co-scripting with Silvia Ebriel and Marcelo Izzo. It's 8 episodes, and it'll be shot in English. So they're definitely looking at a worldwide market for this, wherever it ends up.
Basically, they couldn't decide French or Italian, so like, fine, we'll just do English.
Because that'll suit the biggest audience.
Yeah.
This is exactly the sort of thing I can see either Netflix or Amazon being like, hey,
for the distribution.
Yeah, give it to us. We'll make sure everyone gets to see it. So the partners describe the story as a savage, scorched and deserted world where resources are scarce and it's a daily struggle for survival. There are two men... Oh, sorry, there, two... I was like, that's the wrong version of there, but it's not. It's just because I had said it as if it was there, two men. There, two men and two worlds will collide in an epic clash. That Dirty Black Bag will film next year in Italy and other southern European countries. What's funny is I feel like the word steampunk implies to me it's the future. It's like the West, but it's in the future. But I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong.
That's what it implies to me as well.
Yeah, it could just be the West, but like, it's an alternate history with the steampunk elements as well.
Yeah. There's the two types of steampunk. Is it's the future but retro.
Yeah,
like that, or it's an alternate version where it's the past but it's ahead of where it should be. It's usually in the industrial age.
So, but definitely Western steampunk. I'm down with that idea, by all means.
Absolutely, that sounds right up our street.
Tight 8 episodes as well. No idea if it's meant to be like a one and done, or if it's going to be like something they want a season 2 for, maybe. But I'm down
either way.
way.
8 episodes is even for a season 1. I go, okay, 8 episodes. You've got a plan.
Oh sure,
there.
Yeah,
it's going to be tight.
So no, I'm down for that. So that's the That Dirty Black Bag is the title, which does sound kind of like a sort of like tongue-in-cheek Western title to me.
It does, yeah. One to keep on the radar for sure.
Yeah. So we'll be looking out for that and see if that pops up with a distributor somewhere at some point in the near future. Still in the cable / non-network shows, because obviously that was weird because I didn't have a network, so that just typically goes with the cable stuff. We're still there though. Showtime now. They've put in development a show called Calliroi County. I was going to say country. Calliroi County. Calliroi County is based on a Dutch series called Holland's Hoop.
That's a bad name.
Yeah, just more words here. Anyway, it centres on Simon, a forensic psychiatrist struggling to treat the criminally insane at a high-security facility near Chicago. When his estranged father dies, Simon hopes the ensuing visit to the family farm will allow him to confront his issues in his marriage along with his children. But the more pressing problem is that one of his former patients, Dennis, a dangerous but extremely charming psychopath, has followed him there.
See, it got interesting at the end.
It did. So I don't know if it's going to be almost sitcom-y, where the psychopath's like befriending all his family, and like we don't know if he's going to like just snap at one point, or if it's actually more of a darker show where he's tormenting them.
Maybe like hunting them almost. Yeah.
I don't know what direction it's taking. I have zero idea.
I can enjoy either way though.
Yeah, but both sound like they have potential. So Okay,
Definitely.
so that's Showtime. It's called Calliroi County. And Connor has chronic hiccups, by the way. I feel like I don't mention that enough in case new people are wondering why you're always hiccuping. It's a condition. It's an annoying condition.
It is. I can attest to that as well.
It's more annoying for us than it is for you, though. It's amusing for the first couple of days you know him, and then it starts to just really get annoying. It's like, shut up.
Look, just don't worry. When you get hiccups, it doesn't mean you'll get them forever. This is a thing that happens a lot. When someone learns about this, then the next time they get hiccups, they panic and think that's it. They're screwed forever. You're fine, probably.
Probably. Yeah, you just woke up one day and had hiccups and they just never went away.
New Year's Day, I was hungover. I woke up and I didn't think anything of it. And here we are 7 years later. Coming up on 8.
That's why you don't get hungover at the age of 9, alright? That's all I'm saying. That's the penalty.
I wasn't that young.
Yeah, but because you get drunk for hours, there's almost this narrative like going on now where you're just a complete drunk. So I think it's funny to joke that you were getting drunk at that age.
I do want to point, and see, now you're making me look bad because I've clearly been drinking this whole time. We are doing Arrow tonight, so this is preparation for that. Don't make me look worse than I am.
Oh, that's not possible, Connor. Joe, it's funny, we got a comment on a video earlier today telling me to stop being mean to Connor and to not put him down, and I'm like, do people not notice how awful he is to me on a maybe he does it off camera more than I do. Maybe most of his insults come when we're not shooting.
I think the problem is most of the things I call you are not suitable for airing.
Yeah, so they're actually much worse. I feel like I'm much more lenient on you, but the viewers think I'm much worse to you. So I come across as this asshole, and you sit there like a ginger little angel, be like, oh.
It's really fun.
Also, I said ginger little angel instead of ginger little angel, like I meant to. Just for the record, I noticed I slurred that, so I just want to acknowledge it and say I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
All right.
Either way, you're a dick for making the comment in the first place, but it's fine because I'll get you back.
Moving on, Starz. Yep, still cable networks will not hit yet. Starz is developing a show called Piton. It's a drama series with a lesbian lead that touches on the current opioid epidemic. That's how you say that, right? Opioid.
Yeah.
Opioid. Right. Okay. You can tell I don't have an addiction to it. So, Piton centers on Jackie Quinones, a hard-partying lesbian in Provincetown, aka Piton, a federal fisheries service agent. What the hell is that?
I don't know what that is.
What the hell is a fisheries service agent?
I mean, I'm assuming it's a seaside coastal town that has a large fishing industry that is subsidized by the government. But I'm probably bullshitting my way out of this.
Or she solves fish murders.
God, I hope it's that.
Yeah, so she's a fisheries service agent who uses her gun and badge to seduce tourist chicks. Okay.
Why do they have a gun and badge for fish? What?
Is there a lot of like crime
What are they?
corruption? Does it just mean that there's a lot of crime in the docks and the fishing industry, and that's what she's policing? I don't know. Anyway, she's none too enthusiastically putting in her time until she can draw a federal pension. But everything changes when she discovers a body in Cape Cod Bay and finds herself at the centre of Cape's gruesome heroin epidemic. So it's a murder mystery, basically. It spent a long time describing her, who she is, which is fine, but...
I mean, it sounds fine. It sounds like a murder mystery. It could be good.
Yeah. I want to know what a fishery service agent is.
I'm sorry. I need to...
All right, okay.
Fishery service agent.
What is a fishery service agent?
I need to know. This is bothering me.
Or is it just that the gangs all have fish-based names? Like one's the trout gang, one's the tuna gang?
I don't know. It doesn't seem to be telling me. Google is not coming up with anything immediately. Is it the Marine Fisheries Service? Maybe this is it. A U.S. federal agency responsible for the stewardship of national marine resources. Agency conserves and manages fisheries to promote sustainability and prevent lost economic potential associated with overfishing, declining species, and degraded habitats.
That does not explain.
Why do they have a gun?
Yeah, that does not explain why they have a gun at all. Like, What are they shooting at? What do some of the fishermen who when you tell, oh, you've been fishing too much? Do they get like, pull out like a bar and try and hit you with it? Like, do they get angry?
I don't understand. What? How is this a real thing?
I also just want her to whip out her badge, like fishery agency.
I'm with the Marine Fishery Service.
Why did? I mean, I'm all for like them using like different like things, rather it's just not just the local police again, it's not just the FBI again. Like, I like that they're getting more specific and doing something. I just don't understand why this fishery service agent has a gun. I don't get it.
No, it's not like it's a military agency that she's policing. It's wildlife. It's habitat. Like what?
Responding to assault at the corner of Fifth. So some fish was battered.
Oh. So I'm even letting you have that one.
Okay.
I'm letting you have it because this is so stupid that it's asking for it.
Yeah. I left out the bit about the chips being assaulted.
Yeah, I should bloody hope so.
Did fit in the joke as well. But
no, it did.
Okay. That's Piton. Should call it Fish Town.
Oh, it sounds like nonsense.
Actually, they should call themselves the FBI, but then every time they say it, they have to like correct the person afterward and say it's not the federal though; it's just the Fish Bureau of Investigation.
Their official an acronym is the NMFS.
Oh, that rolls off the tongue.
I know. I had to think. Don't put an M and an M next to each other.
NMFS. I'm with the NMFS. The what?
You see, I feel like you end up saying two N's. Or two M's, alternatively.
M and MFS.
It's closer than I'd probably get.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's Piton. So moving over, we have another show here. This is based on real life UFO sightings in the UK near. Maybe you'll have heard of this place, so you can tell me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Rendlesham, or is it Rendlesham? Is it Sham or Ham at the end?
I don't know.
Never heard of it? Yeah, I've never heard of it either. But apparently it's a famous kind of
I'd assume myth. Ham, by the way.
Rendlesham, okay.
Rendlesham.
Like that. Rendlesham.
Like Rendlesham.
Rendlesham, like okay. Probably is. I've just never heard of the place.
That's how I'd assume, just based on the way you're saying it. I'm not seeing this, of course.
It's the name of the show, though, so they'll be telling us how to pronounce it, I'm sure, at some point. But so it was a base there used by the US Air Force, and it's basically been described in the past as Britain's Roswell, because there was a lot of UFO sightings and weird things that happened in the 1980s. So it's a London producer who's partnering with Sony International TV to do this, to develop this. No broadcaster or anything like that, no network or platform, so this could end up anywhere in any country, who knows. But Joe Aherne from Doctor Who? I thought you might know.
The name's not ringing a bell.
A writer from Doctor Who then is going to helm the show, and it'll recount claimed UFO landings near the airbase Rendlesham, in Rendlesham Forest, specifically in Suffolk, England, in the 1980s. So that's when all this went down. It is a complex family drama that will form the backdrop to the series, which will also fast forward from the height of the Cold War to 2020, the 40th anniversary of the incident. So they're doing some, big time jumps in different timelines.
Yeah.
And apparently I think the whole 40th anniversary is that there's like some goofy theories that something will happen 40 years after the fact.
Oh, of course, that makes sense.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It seems all right. I mean, I got nothing against it.
Yeah. Not a lot to go on yet, but I mean, it's one thing to tell me it's UK's Roswell, and then it's another thing for both of us to go, what? Never heard of
it. Yeah.
I know Roswell, but so
that's no one cares, do they? UK's Roswell. Yeah, it was probably one ship that people go, oh yeah, something happened there. I'm telling you, some farmer with a shotgun was like, yeah, there was definitely something out there.
All right, so we're on to the networks.
Okay, finally.
Okay, all right, pay attention.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to see what episodes of Doctor Who that guy wrote. I can't find it. It's bothering me.
Alright, whatever. Okay, so NBC's got a show in development. It's called Bad Medicine. Based on a comic book. Which you weren't expecting. You were thinking Bad Medicine, so it's just going to be a medical thing.
I was.
And obviously, it still will be a medical thing, but yeah, comic by Nunzio de Philpus, Christina Weir, and illustrator Christopher Mitten. Bad Medicine is a character-driven procedural that brings together the unlikeliest pair, a world-renowned yet recently disgraced physician and a former NYPD detective who with a take-no-prisoners attitude. Together with a select group of scientists, they lead the Global Disease Detection Unit of the CDC, the SEAL Team 6 of medicine.
Look, I'm pretty sure I'm not quite entirely sure. I'm pretty sure you said this was NBC and not Fox.
Yes.
But I'm drinking for the cop show with a twist anyway.
Yeah, cop show. One of the partners is like a CDC physician, and they're going to track down bad diseases.
Why do you need a cop to track down diseases?
Maybe he's good at interrogating people who made bad bad viruses. Like, you know.
So you think it's going to be bioterrorism?
Maybe, yeah, I can see it being bioterrorism.
Okay, that's more interesting, I guess.
I can see some of the plots being bioterrorism. So
this sounds super network TV.
It does. Moving from there, also NBC, they're developing a drama called American Disaster from writer Michael McGrail, who worked on CSI Miami and The Following. So American Disaster centers around a Midwestern community that holds itself together in the wake of a catastrophic tornado. The project is envisioned as a potential anthology, with each season tackling a different event in a different place. It's not a terrible idea.
Sounds better than the last one.
Yeah. You know, season 2, tsunami or something like that, or season 3.
Yeah. You got earthquakes, tsunamis, tornadoes.
What I love is that you can put 90% of the budget for effects in the first episode, because that's when it'll happen.
Yeah.
So it can look good.
This is basically, we'll do a disaster movie every year, but it'll just be a different disaster movie.
Yeah, kind of.
But spread over however many episodes. But you know, I'm down for that. Disaster movies can be fun.
You got hurricanes, tornadoes, tsunamis,
earthquakes, volcanoes.
Volcano, yeah. That'll be the jump in the shark, though, when they go to a volcano in season 5.
Definitely.
Well, okay, we have to just go to a volcano, even though that doesn't happen as often. Yeah. Fine.
Well, they can't do an earthquake again.
Well, obviously. And then they really jump the shark in season 6, where they basically have all of them happen at once in the same place.
Yes, I can't wait.
Anyway, so what's going on in California right now? Forest fires and stuff. Like, I could see that.
Oh, yeah.
That could be a season.
Yeah. We really made light of that there, didn't we?
Did we?
I don't know. Just what's going on there? It's pretty bad.
I didn't mean it that flippantly. I mean, obviously it's serious. People are being evacuated. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just saying, like, that's going on right now. So that's why I'm like, we should have thought of that earlier. That's my point.
Touche.
All right, so that's American Disaster. Still at NBC, they're putting in development a show called Spirit of the Law.
Oh, God.
That's Spirit of the Law, based on the life of California pastor Calvin Kressel, and former Nashville co-executive producer David Gold. So this is based on a true story. So Spirit of the Law is a story of a real-life Compton pastor who was a federal special agent for 30 years. Kressel, who's a special agent with the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of the Inspector General, has served as pastor for the Great Mount Sinai Baptist Church for nearly 19 years. He would work on dangerous cases during the week, including going undercover, but coming back to his flock on Sunday at what used to be the toughest church in all of Compton, when the city was torn by gang violence.
I'm sorry, but it's a cop show, but he's a priest. It's The Exorcist, but probably not as good. It's
basically he's a hard cop during the week, and then at the weekend he's in church, and yeah, sure. I mean, maybe that's why the fact
this isn't. If I'd heard this before I'd watched the Exorcist TV show, I'd be kind of like going, "Whoa, what?" But this seems much more plausible after that as a TV show, where you've got priests doing some really badass things.
Yeah. So yeah, and obviously, I mean, maybe it'll have some interesting plots because it's based in his real life, but it does feel super network TV to me, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm not sure how it's going to go with that. Alright, so next up we have a Fox show in development. It's a dramedy called The Bad Decisions Playlist. It's based on a book by Michael Rubens. The Bad Decisions Playlist series focuses on a 16-year-old Austin who's always messing up and joking his way out of tough spots. The sudden appearance of his allegedly dead father, who happens to be the very much alive rock star Shane Tyler, spins his entire world out of orbit. Austin, a talented musician himself, is sucked into his newfound father's alluring world while he discovers more about himself, his friendships, and what it means to have the new modern version of a family.
Sorry, what is this?
He finds out his real dad's actually this rock star.
Is a rock star. He thought he was dead, but he's just been on tour his whole life.
Well, no, I think the idea is he didn't, like, his mother just told him, it didn't tell him who his father was. It's just, she told him,
right,
your dad's dead.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And then he finds out later, no, he's actually not dead. She just said that because she doesn't like him for whatever reason, and he's this rock star, Shane Tyler.
I'm with you. And then the end of season 1 twist is they take a paternity test. He's actually not his dad, but they've grown close, so he'll go, okay, well, I'm going to stick around.
Yeah, you can stay with me on tour and do all these rock music things, yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound terrible, but I'm good.
Yeah. No, I'll pass.
On to the last news story of the week.
Oh?
Yeah. CBS has given a 13-episode straight-to-series order for a...
Why am I so scared?
For a summer show, serialized. They actually specified serialized because it's CBS, so you have to actually point that out.
Okay, I'm more interested.
Which, to be fair, seems to be their pattern, is they always do these things during the summer. That's when they do serialized stuff. For them, that's the weak stuff in the summer that they just do to fill time.
Yeah, that's the off season of, go on then. We'll give it a shot. Because that's where we had Brain Dead, which I liked a lot.
Yeah. It's coming summer 2019. It's called Blood and Treasure. Blood and Treasure centres on a brilliant antiquities expert and a cunning art thief who team up to catch a ruthless terrorist who funds his attacks through stolen treasure. As they crisscross the globe, hunting their target, they unexpectedly find themselves in the centre of a 2,000-year-old battle for the cradle of civilization.
I can't. No, I'm done.
It's
so this is a cop show where neither of them are cops.
No, it's not a cop show. It's a national treasure show.
But terrorists. They're chasing terrorists.
Aye, so it's like the Mummy meets something like that. It's not a cop show.
Okay, fine.
It's the Mummy meets, like, True Lies or something. I don't know.
I don't know if I want this or if it's going to be amazing. I don't know if I just stop it, or
it could be amazing, but I'm assuming it's going to be terrible. That's my assumption at this moment.
I'll give them benefit of the doubt based on Brain Dead being pretty good. Not perfect, but pretty good.
We've tried some of the other summer shows, though, and they were all bad.
I know. Honestly, I think that might have just been Mary Elizabeth Winstead was like, oh, yeah, okay, this carries the show. And the quirky musical intro, which was nice and fun.
All right. So, that your thoughts on Blood and Treasure?
Yeah, probably going to be awful, but maybe it'll be amazing.
Okay. Well, that brings an end to the news this week.
Yeah. Well, we've got the Fox deal.
Oh, sure, you're right, yeah. I did say that earlier on. Yeah, we should talk a little bit more about this. So, basically, we had the whole thing where Disney were looking to acquire most of Fox. Not the news or the sports sections or what they do, but the basic cable channels, that meaning FX and all those channels, National Geographic and all those. Not the main Fox channel, because it's actually against the rules for them to own another main network. So they can't do that. But the maybe more notable part is their movie library and all their IPs and all that stuff. Which is, that's why people are like, Fantastic Four and X-Men and the Marvel Universe and so on. But at the time, the news story was, they were in talks, but it fell through. And we even speculated that this was a ploy, that Fox deliberately leaked this so that it would get other people bidding, so that the price would go up. And sure enough, a week or two later, both Comcast and Sony were confirmed to also be in talks. How Sony can afford this, I have no idea, but...
selling their soul.
Regardless, that was the thing. Comcast is apparently still in the running. Like, Comcast is not out the picture yet, so they're still involved. However, it sounds from news this week that they are dangerously close to Disney taking it and this might be a done deal sometime next week.
Yeah, articles I've seen as of yesterday were basically saying, it's a done deal for all intents and purposes. It might as well be signed already.
They're expecting an announcement sometime next week. So if it happens next week, we'll obviously have a bigger discussion about it. And that said, when it first came up, we had a pretty in-depth discussion as to what the pros and cons.
And why we hate it.
And why we hate it. Mostly cons. It was mostly cons, admittedly. But, there's still potential it's not going to be a complete bad story. There's still potential there could be, if they let Fox still be like a sort of subdivision and like do their own thing. Because this is the thing, up until this week, Fox as a movie studio and as a TV production studio are still like announcing projects. They're still gearing things up.
I mean, we had a handful of things just in this show.
Yeah, so that those aren't going anywhere necessarily. So hopefully that's the case. But Disney.
It's one of those though where even if it comes with a bunch of good things in the short term, when I just look at the bigger picture, I go, okay, we're one clip closer to a monopoly. I hate this. Yeah,
the bigger picture's bad no matter what if this happens.
There's no way to spin this into a good angle for me in the long term.
Don't get me wrong, like, if Fox are determined to sell to someone, it has to happen, then fine, it has to happen, and that's still slightly bad in the long term, but I would prefer almost anyone else but Disney to be the ones who get it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Universal maybe would be a good pick. Paramount would be terrible. And technically Universal is Comcast, so that would actually be them if it was Comcast.
It would, yeah.
But hey, here we go. This is what we have.
It just happens that Disney is worst case scenario, and that happens to be the one that's most likely.
Yeah. Arguably Sony's even worse because they might just run into the ground within a year because of Sony. And their movie studio business is floundering badly.
That's true. So we're kind of hoping for Comcast here, is what we're saying.
Which is weird, because Comcast aren't exactly the greatest company in the world.
No, that's a horrible thought that we're saying that out loud.
Yeah. I suppose Sony might do better because it'd actually give them some proper IP to have.
I wonder if, by the nature of just having something that will automatically bring people in, would do better for them. It's like, okay, well, that's a guaranteed hit, so there is a guaranteed minimum threshold.
Yeah, but no, it's looking like Disney are probably going to do it, which is going to be weird. So, and obviously this will affect TV as well in a lot of different ways. Oh, but can I just dispel one thing I've been seeing going around Twitter?
Depends what you've been seeing.
This is just grossly like jumping to assumptions, and they don't understand anything that's happening. I've seen people all over Twitter saying the phrase, and to some extent, that it's going to be weird that Disney's going to own Gotham because it's on Fox. Two things. One, that's not how TV works. Fox don't own the show. They broadcast the show. It's made by Warner Brothers. Secondly, that channel's not in the deal. If you actually read the articles, that channel is not a part of this. It's only FX and the cable channels that are part of it. So, no. Shut up.
Apparently Gotham killed off a major character this week.
Stop spreading misinformation. Not you, them.
Yeah, I was going to say, mine may be misinformation if I've been misinformed. Yeah. I don't watch it.
But so that's it. So we'll leave that there, and we'll potentially talk about it more if it happens next week.
Which it might.
Which it very well might. Or beyond. So there you go. So I guess that leads us to picking our favourite episode of TV of the week.
Yeah.
And this is weird. I'm going to essentially count S.H.I.E.L.D. onwards as this week.
That's where I'd count, because that's what, if we had done the news where we should have done.
Yeah, last week.
That's where we'd be going from.
Yeah. Which unfortunately means we don't get to give any sort of credit to the crossover, the DC crossover, because that was...
It's funny, because I know 2 weeks ago, the last news episode, I said, if there's 1 week where it could do it, it was that.
Yep. So, but here we are. So, I'm thinking about what we had.
I'm looking at the list. If you want me to tell you, we had S.H.I.E.L.D.
Go on.
All of Dark, Godless 5 and 6, Mr. Robot, Runaways, Happy, and Nightfall. That's what we did this week.
Yeah, Runaways had a good episode. It's not winning for me, but it had a good episode. So
it had its best episode, but not best enough to win.
So here's the thing: like, Mr. Robot had a really good episode this week. It just wasn't up to par with the amazing 4 that preceded it. So I'm actually going to do something crazy, and I'm going to give it to S.H.I.E.L.D. because I was really happy to have that back, and I think it did a lot of new interesting things. I'm excited about the new status quo going into this season, and I want to give that some props. So I'm giving it to S.H.I.E.L.D. this week. Something
crazy? I was thinking the same thing.
Oh my!
Like I said, Mr. Robot probably on its own is a better episode than those episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D. But in context of, okay, that was the weakest in half the season. And not to say it's still a fantastic episode of TV, but contextually, it's the weakest. S.H.I.E.L.D. came back strong. It came back fresh. It impressed.
Contextually.
I'm drinking. Shut up. I know as soon as I said it, I was like, that came out wrong, but I'm not going back and correcting it. I'm hoping you don't pick up on it. Look, this is like my 5th cider of the night. This is 7 point something percent. It's getting to me, okay?
I'm going to put a new goal on Patreon to give Connor an intervention. So if you want to get all of us,
if you want an intervention, we're gonna have to stop watching Arrow.
So I guess that kind of wraps up the show. I will promote things that are coming up in the channel or whatnot, or have came up. Obviously, we mentioned we've been reviewing Dark. 4 of those will be up by the time this goes up and stuff. Do check out what did we do in the last week or so? All on TV. Obviously, we mentioned the TV at the start. I'm just thinking about other stuff.
Yeah, I'm not on it, but I would like to spotlight the La La Land review that you and Matt did. This is part of the Overload where the patrons vote on a movie from either Peter or Matt. They choose one that they love. Matt won with La La Land. And you want to watch it just to see Peter's misfortune, having to watch something that he knows he was going to hate going in.
I was very diplomatic on that video. I did not get angry. I was not screaming.
You see the hatred in his eyes and the despair in his soul that he had to watch this.
They don't have to go and look at that to see hatred in my eyes.
Very good. Very good. But they should.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the thing, and obviously there's more episodes of Screams After Midnight that I do with Tim. We talked about Friday the 13th Part 3 this week. We also talked about My Little Lie, that just went up today, which is a horror movie from 2002. So it was sort of in the height of reality TV becoming a thing. This was a movie that was kind of made around the idea of a reality TV show. That was, I'll say, interesting, if nothing else.
Well, what have we got coming up? I mean, the next news episode will be up before this, but Star Wars Last Jedi is coming next week. Yeah,
the review of that will be up sometime Sunday next week. So
yeah, keep your eyes out. It might be a bit of a discussion.
It may be. If you want to go back to our Rogue One review, you'll find that I did not like that film very much, and I was fighting Connor and Matt on it extensively.
No. To give him credit, he was more positive on Force Awakens.
Oh, I was. I like Force Awakens. Yeah. Got a couple of nitpicks, but I thought it was a solid movie.
Hopefully we'll all lean that way, and we'll all enjoy it.
I think it'll be so funny.
I'm ready to fight.
I think it'll be so funny if one of you two hear it. It'll be so funny. Like, if they do something really on Star Wars and I love it, and then you two are like, oh, I hate this is ruining Star Wars for me. That'll crack me up.
See, you say that? I don't know what they could do that would be, un-Star Warsy, that would make me hate it, because I like the idea of doing something different with the property. So I don't know if there is anything.
There's a mysterious stranger who's been helping throughout the movie, right? And we get to the end and we're like, okay, this person's been helping us all movie along. Who is it? Who's helping the heroes? He's got the Jedi robe, the hood on, like the robe. He's got his head down.
I don't know where you go with this. I'm worried.
He says, I was happy to help. He pulls off the hood. We see his face, and along comes with the phrase, I am the immortal Iron Fist. I am the sworn protector of Kunlun.
Okay. No, you found it. You found the thing I can't take.
I'm the sworn enemy of the hand.
You found the thing I can't take.
Or the Sith. Sworn enemy of the Sith.
No, I can't do it. Can't do it. Did you see Tammy Wiseau wants a cameo in the next one?
Oh, I saw that he wanted to direct a Star Wars movie.
Oh, okay. Maybe he's gone up from there then. Since he was like, I want to have an appearance in the next one.
I did not force choke. I did not. It is bullshit. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark Hamill.
Yeah, I've seen so many of him replacing the Mark with Hamill and Lisa with Leia.
Ah, yeah, you tear me apart, Leia.
Yeah. I've seen so many. It just works. It's beautiful.
I guess that's the end of the video. So let us know what you thought of the news this week. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mild_fuzz for channel updates. You can also support the channel and everything we do here at patreon.com/mildfuzztv. And you can do that. The link will be in the description, link will be in the corner of the video, and all the various things should be pretty easy to find. So that is everything. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching TV, guys. We will see you next time. Have you got any vanilla?